Yesterday we discussed about the file organization system. So today we will discuss the what are the index methods for the file organization system. So we have the some index methods for a file indexing the file organization. Those are the order indexes, primary indexes. Second primary index is the two types, dense index, sparse index. Next, cluster index and the secondary index. Now we will discuss one by one what is the order index and what is primary index, what is cluster index, what is secondary index, what is dense index, and what is sparse index. So the indices which are stored are known as the ordered indexes. See, in this index, if you inserted the zigzag way, they will automatically it will sorted by the indexes. Suppose if you have an employee table with the thousands of records and each of which is 10 bytes long. If their ID starts with 1, 2, 3 and so on, you have to search student with the ID 543. In this case of database with the index, we have to search the disk blocks from starting till the reaches 543. Then we have to read the 5430 bytes memory. Next one is the primary index. If the index is created on the basis of primary key of the table, then it is known as primary indexing. Suppose if you see here in the above one, just we are saving the sequentially order in the sorted order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 like this. There is no primary key in this order index. Suppose in this primary index, you have to create the index based on the primary key. Then it is called the primary index. As primary keys are stored in stored order, the performance of the searching operation is quite efficient. So in primary key, if you want to search the any record, then it is very easy compared to the above indexes. The primary index is classified into the, again two types. So dense index and the sparse index. The dense index contains an index record for every search key value in the data file. It makes searching faster. In this, the number of records in the index table is same as the number of records in the main table. It needs more space to store index record itself. The index records have the search key and the pointer to the actual record on the disk. See here, already we created the some index, that is the primary index and dense index. See, this is the table. See, what is this? It needs so it is more space to store the index record itself. The index records have the search key and point to the actual record on the disk. See, these are the indexes: UP, USA, Nepal, UK. So using this, we are pointing the records in the main table. So see here, how many indexes are there? Here also same rows are there. So same rows are sorry, records are there. So using this, you can need a more amount of memory space in your database. Next one is the sparse index. In the data file index, the record appears only for few items. Each item points to a block, and this instead of pointing to each record in the main table, the index points to the records in the main table. Say, if you created the index, how many are there? UP, Nepal, UK. See, you created only 3 indexes. Based on 3 indexes, you are accessing the your records in UP, Nepal, UK. So using this also you can access the USA record also. That is the sports index. Next one is the clustering index. So what is meant by the clustering index? A clustered index can be defined as an order data file. Sometimes the index is created on nine non-primary key columns, which may not be unique for each record. In this case, to identify the record faster, we will group two or more columns to get the unique value and create the index out of them. This method is called the clustering index. Say, in a table we have the thousands of columns or records are there. Say, if you created an index instead of the primary key, so if you create the non-primary key columns, then that time you have to divide those non-primary column indexes into the some groups, some groups and then we can access it easily. Based upon the group, you can access your records. This is the clustering index. This is the diagram. See, department ID pointer. So if you have the five departments, one, two, three, four, five. So in this, the five, department ID one. So in this way, you have the 10 department, 10 employees are there. You can access 10 employees details using the number one. Number two, you can access the five employees like this. Next one is the secondary index. So what is meant in secondary indexing to reduce the size of mapping, another level of indexing is introduced. In this method, the huge range of the columns is selected initially so that the mapping size of the first level becomes the small. Then each range is further divided into the smaller ranges. The mapping of the first level is stored in the primary memory so that address fetch is faster than the mapping of the record level and actual data is stored in the secondary memory hard disk. So what is meant by the secondary index? So if you created the any index for any column, initially the mapping is the reduced. So if you reduce the mapping of the index to the records, then automatically you can save your time. You can save your time. That is the secondary index. See, roll number 200. See, in this roll number, see, 1000, 1100 is the roll number. 101, 110, 120, up to 200 records are belongs to the 100. If you type the 100, automatically 101, 102, 103, easily it will display. This is the secondary level index. This is the primary level index. Say in 101, 102, 110, up to 200. Like this 200 also, up to 300. This is not there in our syllabus. Explain about the business tree. Next one is the SQL. SQL stands for the Structured Query Language. Structured Query Language. So it is used in the relational database management system and database management system for storing and managing the data. So SQL stands for the Structured Query Language. Using this, you can store the data, you can manage the data in a database management system as well as in the relational database management system. So it is a standard language for any relational database management system. So it enables a user to create, read, update, and delete relational database and tables. Using SQL, you can create your own database. You can delete your own database. You can update your own database. You can modify your own database. And using SQL, you can create your own tables. You can modify. You can delete. You can update your own tables. That is the purpose of the SQL. So these are the some rules and regulations you have to follow while implementing the SQL. We will discuss the some rules. Structured query language is not a case sensitive. Generally, keywords of SQL are written in uppercase. So what is meant by the case sensitive here? SQL is not a case sensitive language. It is a structured query language is not case sensitive. What is the difference between case sensitive and not case sensitive? Suppose take the C language. C language. In C language, if you declare the variables integer, small a, small b, small c, three variables. If you want to use these three variables anywhere in the program, you have to mention the small letters only. Small a, small b, small c. If you mention the capital letters, then the compiler will give the error, not identify. Means once you declare the any variable in the capital letter or small letter, you have to use like that only. If it is small letter, you have to use small letter only. If you declare the capital letter, you have to use capital letter only. But in SQL, no need of like that. So if you declare in the what is that? In capital letter, you can use the small letter. If you declare in the small letter, you can use capital letters also. As your wish, you can use. That is the case difference between case sensitive and the not case sensitive. Next, statements of SQL are dependent on text lines. We can use a single SQL statement on one or more multiple text lines. So, this using SQL statements, you can create the tables, you can delete the tables, you can update the tables like this. So, these tables are dependent on text lines. These statements you have to write using the text lines. So we will see what are the text lines in next slide. Using the SQL statements, you can perform most of the actions in database. Most of the what are the actions? Creating, deleting, updating, modifying, accessing, seeing, reading. All these are come under the database operations. These are the rules in the SQL structured query language. This is the SQL process. SQL query language, there is a processor and there is a DBMS engine. This is a physical database. So what are the advantages? Why we need the SQL? So there are the following advantages of the SQL. Using SQL, you can execute the queries with a high speed, efficiently retrieve a large amount of records from the database. If you created the database using SQL, you can quickly access your records and large amount of records within the fraction of seconds. That is the high speed. Next one is the no coding needed. Suppose if you want to write the suppose if you want to write the addition of two numbers in C language, no need to, you have to write the some code. Integer a comma b comma c is equal to 5, b is equal to 10, and c is equal to a plus b. Like that, you can write the some lines of code in C language. But In SQL, no need of that much of code, no need to write the code, just you can give the SQL statements. It gives us some statements or some commands DAS commands, like DAS commands. So next one is the well-defined standards. So it will follow the International Standard Organization and ANSI organization standards. Next one is the portability. So what is meant by the portability here? SQL can be used in laptop, PCs, server, even some mobile phones also. So you using SQL, you can maintain a database, laptop and personal computer in some servers or in your mobile also. So portability. So what is meant by the portability? All you have mobiles, right? Smartphones. In smartphones, you have the one small SIM card. That SIM card is the portability. Portability means it can work on any network. It can work on any network. Means Idea, Airtel, Jio, like this in any network, you can move to the using port. So like that, SQL also, you can run the SQL using SQL databases in laptops, PCs, server, and even in smart mobiles also. So it is an interactive language. It is an interactive language. SQL is a domain language used to communicate with the database. It is also used to receive answers to the complex questions in seconds. If you write the some complex number of complex queries, then it will give the answers within a fraction of seconds. Next one is the multiple data view. Using SQL language, the users can make different views of the database structure. So using SQL, the users can create in different views of the database structure. So these are the some advantages of the SQL. So what are the advantages of the SQL? High speed, no coding needed, well-defined standards, portability, interactive language, multiple data views. Now we will discuss the what are the commands are there, statements are there. I said using some SQL statements or SQL like DAS commands, you can create the database. Now we will discuss what are those commands or what are those statements in SQL. We have the 4 or 5 types. DDL commands are there, DML commands are there, DCL commands are there, TCL commands are there. 4 types of commands or statements are there in the structured query language. 4 types of commands or statements are there in the structured query language. Those are the DDL, DML, DCL, and the TCL. Now we will discuss what is DDL, what are the DDL commands, what are those, what are the purposes of the DDL commands, and what are the DML commands, what are the DCL commands, what are the TCL commands. First, we will discuss about the DDL commands. DDL stands for the Data Definition Language. DDL stands for the Data Definition Language. So using DDL command, you can create the database, you can alter the database, you can truncate the tables and database as well as tables and database. DDL stands for the Data Definition Language. And next one, DDL changes the structure of the table like creating tables, deleting tables, altering tables, etc. Next, all the commands of DDL are auto-committed. That means it is permanently save all the changes in the database. Suppose using create statement, you can create the database or tables. If you created the table, automatically it will save permanently in the your database. Permanently in the your database. If you created a table one table in our database, automatically it will save in database permanently. No need to save. Suppose if you create the Word file, you have to save that one manually into the database. Here, no need of that one. Automatically, the table will store in your database. See, these are the DDL commands or DDL statements. Create, alter, drop, truncate. So we will discuss one by one. What is meant by the create, what is meant by the alter, what is meant by the drop, and what is meant by the truncate. So first one is the create. Create, it is used to create a new table in the database. Suppose if you install some SQL in your database, so in your database, if you want to create a one table, new table, either student table or employee table or any other department table, using the create statement, you can create the table. Using create statement, you can create the table. This is the syntax for the creation of the table. Yes, listen. SQL is the free open, which is the open source in the Google. You can download from the Google and you can install in your database system and you can give the username password to your database. So while connecting to your database, then you have to give your username, password. After that, you have to type all these commands, whatever I explained. See, this is the syntax of the create statement. So create a table. Here table name means either it is student table, student or employee. Here column name, data types like this, so and so on. You can create any number of columns. This is the syntax. Yes, once again I will explain. Listen. Create table, table name. Here you can give any name table, any name, column name. You can give any column name. Then you have to give the data type. So what is meant by the data type here? In C language, I think you learned the data types: integer data type, character data type, float data type, double data type. Integer data type is used to the numerical values 0 to 9, and character data type is used to the alphabetical values A to Z, and float and double for the decimal values. Like that, here also you have to define the some data types. Some data types. So we will discuss what are those data types, which type of data types we can use for which thing. Now we will discuss. That is the syntax. Now see the example. Create table employee. My table name is the employee here. My table name is the employee. So here first I am creating the name. Name belongs to the string. String in C language, if you want to declare the name, you can give the string. But here we are giving the varchar2. Varchar2. Varchar2 is a one type of data type. So if you want to work with the strings, then you can use the varchar data type. Varchar2 data type. Here, it is 20 is the length of the name. You can give name up to 20 characters only. You can give name up to 20 characters only. Next one is the email. Email also belongs to the varchar and the numbers. It will store the numbers as well as strings. So you can enter email up to 100. Next, DOB, date of birth. For date of birth, we have the data type, that is the date data type. Date data type. So this is the command or statement to create a one table in the database. In the database. This is syntax. C. Column name means name is the column name. Data type is the varchar2. See here we have to give the length of the column. Length of the column. This is optional. You can give, you cannot give. Next one is the drop. It is used to delete both the structure and record stored in the table. Using drop command, you can delete the entire table. Suppose if you created the one table, you insert the 10 records in the table. So if you want to delete the 10 records and structure of the table at a time, then you have to use the drop command. Using drop command, you can delete the entire structure of the table as well as records within the table. So this is the syntax. Drop table semicolon. Example, drop already created the employee table. Drop table employee. So that is the purpose of the drop command. Next one is the alter. So what is the purpose of the alter command or alter statement? We will discuss. It is used to alter the structure of the database. This change could be either to modify the characteristics of existing attribute or probably to add the new attribute. So what is the meaning of this one? Using alter command or alter statement, you can modify the, suppose I gave the student and roll number 1 and the name is some XXX. So by mistake I typed his name one character I typed. So tomorrow you came to the office and you are checking all the records. So you find out that one. So there is some mistake within the name. Using alter table, you can modify that name correctly. That is the one purpose. One more purpose. See here. Take the example of the employee table. So what is the here? Create employee already created. I added the columns name, email, and date of birth. So there is no address column. If I want to add the address column to a particular table, then that time also we can use the alter command. Using alter command, you can add the new column to the existing table or existing structure of the table, or you can modify that column name, already existing column name. Okay, clear? That is the purpose of the alter command or alter statement. Using alter statement, you can add the new columns to the existing database table structure, or you can modify the column names of the existing column in the table. So this is the syntax. Here it is the syntax. Here also to add the new column to a table. This is the modified column name syntax, and these are the two examples. Next one is the truncate. So it is used to delete all the rows from the table, free the space containing the table. What is the difference between the truncate and drop? What is the difference between the truncate and drop? Truncate also used to delete the table, and drop also used to delete the table. What is the difference? Why we need these two things? We can use only one, either drop or truncate. See, listen. Using truncate, you created listen carefully. Suppose you created the one employee table. In employee table, you have the 5 employee records are there. In this year, those 5 employees are worked in your organization. In next year, they left your organization. So what will you do? That data is not necessary for you. Their data is not necessary for you. Why? Because they left your organization. So at that time, another 5 new members are joined in your organization. You want to store those 5 new member employees. Then what will you do? Can you add after 6, 7, 8, 9? Then memory will waste. Then the time using truncate table, you can delete the those 5 employees data, but structure will be there in the database. So using truncate, you can delete the only data within the table, but table structure is there. You cannot delete the using truncate table structure. Table structure will remain like that only. It will delete only data, particular data. So that is the difference between the drop and truncate. Using drop, you can delete entire data table structure and as well as records also. But using truncate, you can delete only the record, but not structure of the table. That is the difference between the truncate and the drop. Truncate and the drop. I think you understood difference between the truncate and the drop. Once again, I will give the explanation. Listen carefully. Using drop command or drop statement, you can delete the table records as well as structure of the table. Means you are deleting entire table. Using truncate, you can delete only records or content of the table, but table structure till now remaining like that only. So you can use the table and you can fill the some more new Chinese data. That is the difference between truncate and the drop. This is the syntax for the truncate. Truncate table name. Example. So these are the DDL commands in the structured query language. What are the create, alter, drop, and truncate? Next one is the DML commands or DML statements. DML stands for the data manipulation language. Data manipulation language. DML commands are used to modify the database. Itself it is saying manipulation, data manipulation language. So data manipulation means you can delete, you can modify, you can update like this. So these are the commands, the DML commands, data manipulation language commands. So the command of DML is not auto-committed. That means it cannot permanently save all the changes in the database. So DDL commands save automatically permanently in the database. So DML commands will not save like that permanently. So you have to save manually. So for that we have the one command. If you want to create a one Word file, then you need to go to the file in that save or save as you can give the so and so name. Like that here also, if you the working with the DML command, already completion of your command, then you have to execute one command to save your changes in the database. We will discuss what is that command. Next, we will discuss in next what is that command. First, we will discuss what are the DML commands here. So these are the DML commands: insert, update, delete. Insert, update, delete. These three commands are called the DML commands in the structured query language. First, we will discuss about the insert. The insert statement or command is a SQL query, structured query language query. It is used to insert data into the row of a table. Suppose you created the employee table. In employee table, what are there? Name, email, and the date of birth. Next, we added the address. That is the structure of the table. Means headings of the column names, serial number, and the name, employee name, email ID, date of birth, and address. If you want to fill the data, suppose employee name, some triplex, employee email triplex at the rate gmail.com, date of birth so and so, and address is so and so. If you want to fill like this data, then we can use the insert command. Using insert command, you can fill the data in the table, or you can insert the data in the table, or you can create the rows in the table. You can create the rows in the table. So this is the purpose of the insert. Three types of purpose of there. You can fill the data, you can insert the data, or you can create the rows. So this is the syntax for the insert. Insert into table and table name. Insert into table. Here table name means employee. See here columns. Column 1. What is the first column we created? Name. After then email. After then DOB. After then address. Then up to n number of columns. So that is the syntax. Next we have to give the values. Values. So employee name triplex. Employee email ID triplex at the rate gmail.com. Employee date of birth 2607 so and so year. And the next address Hyderabad. Like this, you have to give the values. Then those values entered into the one row or one record in the table. So like this, you can insert the values into the table. This is the one way. So in another way is also there. We will discuss. Insert into table name, values. So value 1, value 2, value 3, value 1. Like this also you can create. You can enter directly. No need of give the columns. But you have to carefully give the name values here. So what is the first value? First column you have to know. Employee name. Next, Gmail. Next, sequence is must and should. Next, date of birth. Next one is the address. Sequence is must and should. If you avoid the sequence, then it will give the error to you. It will not insert the data into the database, into the table. Sequence is must and should. Next one is the update. What is the purpose of the update command? This command is used to update or modify the values of a column in the table. Using update, you can update or modify the column value. See, update table name, set column name value. See here, to update students. Students is the table. Set username is equal to Sonu, where student ID is equal to 3. ID means, so who have the ID 3, that person name Sonu we are updating. We are updating name. Next one is the delete. So it is used to remove the one or more row from the table. So what is the difference between truncate, drop, and delete? And delete. See, using drop command, you can delete the entire table's data as well as structure of the table also. Entire table you can delete. Using truncate, you can delete only records or content of the table. If 10 records or 10 employees details are there, you can delete the 10 employees details, but table structure remaining like that only. It will not delete using truncate. Or then what is the difference between delete? Using delete, you can delete the particular record. I inserted the 10 employee details in my table. I want to delete the fifth employee details. Then using delete command, you can delete that particular fifth employee details. That is the difference between the drop, truncate, and the delete. So these are the DML commands. Next one is the TCL commands. What is meant by the TCL command? TCL stands for the Transaction Control Language. TCL stands for the Transaction Control Language. TCL commands can only use with DML commands like insert, delete, and update only. What I said while explaining the DML commands, DML commands will not save into the database automatically. We have to execute the some command to save those commands in the database. So using transaction control commands, you can store the DML commands in the database permanently. Yes, once again I will explain, listen carefully. Using transaction control or transaction control language commands, you can save the DML commands permanently in the database. In the database. These are the three types again: commit, rollback, and the save point. Using commit command, you can save the all the transactions in the database permanently. Suppose using insert, you inserted the some records in the database. Using delete, you deleted the some records. Using update, you updated the some records. If you want to store these changes in the database, then you have to type this command commit. If you type this commit and press the enter, then all the changes will store in the database permanently in the database. Permanently in the database. That is the power of the commit statement. That is the this is the syntax. See here example. Delete from customers where age is equal to 25. So I want to delete the age 25 customer details. Then after I type the commit and press the enter, then whatever deleted the records, the records will not come back again. Why? Because after deletion of that record, it will store the remaining details in the database permanently. That is the purpose of the commit statement. Next one is the rollback. So what is the purpose of the rollback? This is the equal to the undo statement in the Word. Suppose if you are working with the MS Word, you typing the some message, some information, suddenly you deleted the one or two sentences or one or two words. By mistake, you deleted the one word or two words. Then what will you do? How you can retrieve those words to the back? Using undo. Using undo. Using undo. See here, by mistake I deleted the age 25%. Age 25%. I want to delete actually age 35%. By mistake I deleted the age 25. How can I retrieve that record again? Using rollback. This is equal to the undo statement in the Word. Rollback. See, by mistake, I deleted the age 25 customer details. Again, I want that one. I don't want to delete. By mistakenly, I deleted. So simply type the rollback, then it will automatically that record come into the your database table. Database table. This is the main difference between the commit and rollback. So commit means it is storing the whatever you done the changes permanently into the database. Rollback means you can recover the records, whatever you deleted, previous record. That is the difference between the commit and rollback. Next one is the save point. What is the purpose of this save point? It is used to roll the transaction back to a certain point without rolling back the entire transaction. You can keep the some save point, so you can roll back up to that one. No need to go to the entire transaction. That is the use of the save point. Next one is the DCL. DCL, Data Control Language. DCL stands for the Data Control Language. So what is the purpose of the Data Control Language? Commands or statements. Suppose grant and revoke. you have the two types of DCL commands, grant and revoke. Suppose these two commands used by the DBA, database administrator, will use these two commands. Using grant command, he will give the permissions to a particular table. Suppose if you want to give the only read permission to a particular table, using grant command, you can give the only read permission for that table. If database administrator wants to give the read, write, delete, these three things only, using grant command, you can give the only those three permissions to a particular table or particular user. Table or user. Next one is the revoke. So whatever he gave the permissions using the grant command, using revoke, he can remove. He can remove. That is the difference between the grant and revoke. So these two commands are used by the database administrator. Using grant, you can give the some permissions to the user, and using revoke, you can remove the permissions to the user. These are the two commands. These two commands are called the DCL commands, data control language. Itself it is saying. These are the commands or statements in the SQL, structured query language. What are those? DDL, data definition language, DML, data manipulation language, TCL, transaction control language, DCL, data control language. These are the four types of commands in the structured query language, or four types of statements in the structured query language. Next topic is the giants. So what is the purpose of giants? So what is the general meaning of the giant? Means you can join the two things into a one thing. Like that, here also, as the name shows, giant means to combine the something. To combine the something. In case of SQL, giant means to combine two or more tables into a single table. Single table. Giant means to combine the something generally. In SQL language, giant means to combine the two or more tables into a single table. Again, we have the some types of SQL giants: inner giant, left giant, right giant, and the full giant. So purpose is the same, to join the two or more tables into the single table. So why we need this much of giants? One is the inner giant, another one is the left giant, one more is the right giant, and one more is the full giant. What is the, but there is a little bit difference between these things. For inner giant there is a purpose, for left giant there is a purpose, for right giant there is a purpose, and full giant there is a purpose. We will discuss. See, inner giant selects the records that have matching values in both the tables as long as the condition is satisfied. See, in two tables, I have the two tables. One is the employee table, and one more is the project. So here, what are the matching? Employee is a matching 1, 2, 3 are here. 4, 5, 6 are there. Here, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 are there. So using inner giant, you can access the common values only. What are the common values? 1, 2, 3, 4 records only. You are unable to access the 5 and 6. You can access up to only 4. So along with employee ID, employee name, this is a city name, salary, so and so age. Apart from this, you can access the project number and the department also. Only 4. Why? Because these 4 are the matching in first table and the second table. That is the purpose of the inner join. Next one is the left join. The SQL left join returns all the values from the left table and the matching values from the right table. If there is no matching join values, it will return the null. So take the above example. So one is the employee and one is the project table. So what are the matching from the left side and right side table? So first table is the left side table, next table is the right side table. What are the matching values? Those values it returns, and remaining values it will fill the null value from the left side. Next one is the right join. This is opposite the left join. So it will access the right side of the table, matching values. Remaining it will fill the null value. Next one is the full join, means if there is matching or not matching, it will combine all the values. Clumsy from first table and second table rows, all the rows. It will combine all the first table rows and the second table rows into the single table rows. That is the full join. These are the joins. In the inner join, internal join, left join, right join, full join. The next one is the view. What is meant by the view? View is a one type of table. This is called a virtual table. Suppose you have the 1,000 columns in one table. So no, you no need to those 1,000 columns. If you want to see the only first 10 columns, if you want to access the middle, so 20 to 30 columns. If you want to see the 100 to 200 columns, then how is it possible? If you store the 1,000 columns, if you want to see the only 10 to 20 columns only, then that time using view, you can access only those 10 columns or 20 columns. This is also one type of virtual table, not physical table. Not physical table. So whatever the operations you can perform on the table, you can perform on this view also. You can create, you can insert, you can delete, you can modify, you can do what are the operations are doing on the table using DDL commands, DML commands, TCL, DCL, all the commands you can execute here also. So, but it is a virtual table, but not a physical table. These are the samples. Creating a view, single table view, multiple. You can create the using multiple column, multiple table views. Also. Suppose if you want to see the in the first table, 10 columns in the second table, last 10 columns. So you can match those first 10 columns in the first table, last 10 columns in the second table into the one table. That is the one view. So virtual table, multiple tables. Sorry. You can delete the views also. How to insert subqueries, how to update the view. What is table handling? This is not there in syllabus, I think so. So remaining things we will discuss in tomorrow's class. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.